Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the Gospel of John. Today we are beginning to look at John chapter 20, John's account to us of Easter. Now, you remember at the end of chapter 19, we saw Jesus was buried by Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus. They placed his body in a garden tomb, a tomb in which no one had ever been laid before. And of course, they had the stone rolled across the entrance. That was Friday afternoon. Now it is Sunday morning early, and John tells us that Mary Magdalene is coming to the tomb. Let's begin to read. It's early on the first day of the week, still dark, and Mary Magdalene went to the tomb, and she saw that the stone had been removed from the entrance. Now Mary Magdalene comes to the tomb probably to express her grief. She certainly does not expect to find the stone rolled back, and she does not expect to find Jesus alive. She had seen Jesus die on Friday afternoon. She knew he was dead. You remember, she was at the cross. She's coming to grieve and to express her grief. But she finds the stone has been removed. And she finds that the tomb is empty. Notice it says, so she runs to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one that Jesus loved, and she said to them, "They've taken the Lord out of the tomb. We do not know where they've put him." The fact that she knew the tomb was empty indicates that she looked into the tomb. They've taken the body away. She assumes someone had stolen the body. We don't know what they've done with his body. Now, it says she goes to tell Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one that Jesus loved. Now, we haven't seen Simon Peter since Thursday night. You remember, after Jesus was arrested, Simon Peter and the other disciple whom Jesus loved, they followed Jesus into the courtyard of the high priest during the trial. And that was when Simon had denied Jesus 3 times. That's the last time we've seen him until now. Now, the other disciple whom we've always identified as John, we saw him on Friday afternoon at the cross. You remember Jesus had spoken to him and said, "Mary is now your mother, take care of her." So it's to these two that Mary Magdalene goes. The other disciples aren't mentioned. I'm not sure why. Maybe she knew where Peter was. She knew where John was. But anyway, she goes to tell them, "I've gone to the tomb, and the stone is rolled away, and the tomb is empty." What has happened? Well, immediately, these two, Peter and John, go to investigate for themselves. So Peter and the other disciple, they start for the tomb. Both were running, but the other disciple outran Peter, and he reached the tomb first. Now, it's always been assumed, and I think rightfully so, that John was the youngest of the disciples. And being younger, he's got a little more energy. He runs faster. He reaches the tomb first. It says he bent over, he looked in at the strips of linen lying there, but he did not go in. I think that's probably what Mary had done. She looked in and saw that the body of Jesus was gone. John looks in, and he sees that the body of Jesus is not there, but the burial clothing is there. The strips of linen with which they had wrapped Jesus, that is Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus on Friday afternoon, those are there, but the body of Jesus is not. Then Simon Peter came along behind him. He went straight into the tomb. He saw the strips of linen lying there, as well as the cloth that had been wrapped around the head of Jesus. The cloth was still lying in its place. It was separate from the linen. Finally, the other disciple who had reached the tomb first, he also went inside. He saw and believed. They still did not understand from the scripture that Jesus had to rise from the dead. Then the disciples went back to where they were staying. So they both go into the tomb, wondering what has happened. They see the burial clothing there, but where is the body of Jesus? Notice it says that John saw and believed. They had not understood that Jesus would rise from the dead. Even though Jesus told them that, they had not understood it. But John saw and believed. Now, is this full faith in the resurrection, or is this the beginning of belief? We're not sure. But he realized something has happened. He comes to understand this is not just robbery of a tomb. This is not just stealing the body. Something remarkable has happened. He saw and believed. But Peter and John, not knowing what else to do, they return to their home or wherever they're staying. Mary, however, remains at the tomb. It's been a remarkable morning so far. Mary has come, found the stone removed from the entrance. The tomb is open, but Jesus is gone. Peter and John investigate. The tomb is empty. Jesus is gone. Mary stays, wondering what has happened. Sets the scene for her encounter of Jesus. Now, in tomorrow's session, we'll look at how she first meets Jesus at the tomb. So join us next time for our 5-minute Bible study in the Gospel of John.